final boss. So in the last couple of stages that I did, I've defeated the shark was first, and then I went straight to the squid. The last one is the eel. I think it is the eel, I'm not 100% sure on that one. And so far I've done a bit of grinding off camera. I'm going a whole bunch of spears. I still have a whole bunch of crude spears on the ground that I can use to make better spears, the refined spears. But yeah, I don't know if they're going to be useful. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna anchor down once I'm nearby it. I don't want to treat this like Sea of Thieves. The anchor goes instantly. Cool. Raise the sail, because why not? Lift the anchor. Yeah, I'll lift it out. Fuck it, whatever. The Great Arbala. Oh, it's an actual sunken thing. Interesting. Huh. It's a battleship? Okay, right, well. Where is she? Oh, here, I found. Oh, cool looking things there, but I'm gonna zoom out to the top. Oh, there it is! Really? You're that fucking tiny? Ah, crap. This is gonna be too easy. Because I can kind of keep up with it. I think I'm good actually, honestly. This is a lot easier than I thought it would be. Like, it's already dead. It doesn't matter if it hits me, I can still stab the shit out of it. There you go, then. Oh my god, this is gonna be a fucking short ass stream. Wow, okay. Well, that was so. Basically, what I did, I went from the medium hardest difficulty enemy to the hardest fucking enemy, which was the squid. It's the easiest. Wow, okay, well this is I didn't think it'd be easy, but I didn't think it'd be that fucking easy. Wow, so it looks like this thing sunk a battleship. There's skeletons everywhere. Well, bones rather, not skeletons. So I over-prepped for this fucking thing. I have way too many spears, all of them are going to go into one thing, and it should stay the fuck away from me, I guess. I guess we're doing two things in this stream. Okay, well, let me go edit the fucking title of the stream, I'm back in a second. And we're back. Okay, so the eel was the easiest fucking thing ever, so that's not going to be a very long video, is it? Which is hilarious, to say the least. The eel just went down like a sack of fucking potatoes. Let's head back and begin prepping to leave then, since if I was hoping to do one stream of just fighting the last boss, but apparently the last boss was as well as fucking easy as anything else. Well, I guess I'll escape him. I'll head back to base, put together all of my resources, try and get as much resources as I can, and then we'll escape in this stream. I'm gonna save it once I get back there. Okay, we have all the resources here. Food and water will be sorted first. Alright, looks like that didn't give me much at all. That's fine. Okay, we've got exactly half. That's actually perfect, because the rest of the food that I picked up on the way only gave half. Hey, we've got sorted. Don't need these anymore. This can go back in here. Boom, done. There we go. Sorted. Yes, I can put. In fact, what am I on? Yeah. It's not square. I'm gonna be leaving anyway, so put this back up. Whatever. This. Wally, you're coming with me, buddy. And another one done. Do these now. Propeller fixed. Engine fixed. This thing fixed. She's ready to go, lads. Oh, how the hell do I think it's done. Interact. Hold square to go home. Save. Might as well save it here, screw it. Yes. Oh, wait. Hold now, Wally. Let's go home, Wally. Oh, Wilson, whatever the fuck am I call it. I need to put this thing down. Huh, that's cool. Cockpit. Engage rail. Who should engage the rail first and then turn it on? Let's move that. Photo engine. To launch. Going home, ladies and gentlemen. I got really worried for a second then. Am I flying this stuff? No. Looking around, see if I can find my island. Nice. Making it home, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a short ass stream. God damn it. Oh well. It is what it is, I suppose. 3 hours later. What the fuck? Wait a minute, that's the exact same plane. Huh? We just crash into another plane? All that and we die? Oh, come the fuck on, that's not even a good ending. So is that supposed to happen? Or was I supposed to do it during a different part of the day? Oh, let me just... I'm gonna literally Google this. I've never seen a game with a bad ending like that, because that means there's no sequel, no Stranded 2 Deep. What? Stranded Deep 2. In the end, when your character repairs the plane, escape feels led to however you crash into another private plane and the fate is left ambiguous. When you crash into the same place as where the main character castaway is in. Your character crashes into his plane as a time paradox. Orthodox, the cycle is continued with one survivor escaping and causing another person to take their place. Triangle. Follows the cycle and explains why there are sea monsters. Interesting is not about person A, which survived, can only show as part of ending from the perspective of person B. After that, we survived with person A, which may not have had the airplane crash, but shipwreck or other reasons to be in the middle of the ocean on a life-saving boat. So there's no airplane crashings around. After we have ending where person A, us, crashing into the plane, or person B is from the intro. Because as soon as inside the plane from the intro and ending of both set, I control C, control V. Okay, so to explain the ending, in the end, when your character repairs the plane, you escape 3 hours later. However, you crash into another private plane, the private plane that we were on in the intro. We were on a private plane, so I thought the dude might have been a CEO or some high-ranking executive. You crash into another private plane, and the fate is left ambiguous. I'm assuming that someone else is on about time paradox. This is an ending. So 1, you got the Castaway prequel. When you crash into the same plane. That is where the main character of Castaway is in. If you've seen the movie, you'll understand it. I've seen it, but I barely remember it. 2, you've got the time paradox. The character crashed into his plane. Because the plane is white, hence why I thought it was the same plane. I was like, wait, isn't that the same plane that ended up crash landing in? You got Orthodox, the cycle is continued with one survivor escaping and causing another person to take their place. 4, the Triangle, follows the cycle and explains why there are sea monsters. So, do you reckon this area is somewhere in the Bermuda Triangle? Because that's where everything goes missing and then you never see it again. So is that supposed to happen? I'm just pressing point in one of the comments said there's an unusual number of shipwrecks, crashed airplanes all over the area. So it makes sense then, because the amount of shipwrecks is insane. Trying to do this twist ending doesn't work for a survival game. It really doesn't, in my opinion. Because you have the ending of just being dead, so to speak. This is on CBR, by the way. What an odd way to end. I think there was a couple of endings, apparently. I don't know. Fucking know now, do I? Whatever, I suppose. I was literally about to close the game down. Shit. I had my finger over the middle button. So, completely botches the landing. So other games by far and all follow a similar format. The protagonist finds himself alone in a perilous and unfamiliar setting, usually dangerous, and needs to gather resources and craft tools to escape and get back home, or survive, depending. Stranded Deep sticks its formula. Gamers plays a lone survivor of a plane crash isolated in a series of islands somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. Oh, it's an indie game, by the way, so to the developers of this game, considering they're indie, they did a good job. There was a couple of bugs and all that, but it was still a like decent game in my opinion. So slow and methodical. Yeah, it's fucking hard to get up first, requiring planning and patience to level up the protagonist's skills in areas like crafting and hunting, so they can build a vehicle to escape. However, rather than offering a satisfying reward for hours and hours of grafting, the game concludes with a cheap entire time loop cliche. Okay, so it is a paradox then. Stranded Deep does not offer much in the way of a story, which is not necessarily a bad thing. No, some games, they don't need a story. For example, I would say Sea of Thieves is a great game without the story. Yes, there's tall tales and there's story in it, but I never really played Sea of Thieves for the story elements of that game. Stranded Deep is similar in regards to that. There's not much of a story. You crash land. You pick up you pick up tools, craft, whatnot to build up your skills. You fight off these 3 monsters, and then sea monsters, creatures, whatever, and then you escape using the plane and the big cargo ship. But apparently the ending is a time loop paradox. You're crashing into the plane. So I don't think that's a good way to end it. It's kind of like just a consistent loop, then, isn't it? So, just carrying on. Many players turn to survival games for challenge mechanics rather than the plot. Yeah, I am kind of guilty of that. I play games because of the challenge of it. The reason I love Fallout is because it's a slight challenge beneath it. It's easy once you get used to it, so that's where mods come into play. If this was on PC, I would definitely mod the game. But as it's on PlayStation and so many dicks about mods, understandably, yeah, that won't happen. Unless I can get it on Steam, I might stream what I'm trying to do. That'd be funny. I could do with Fallout 4 before I completely destroyed that game with mods. Well, Bethesda supporting mods. Nexus is just better. I would stream New Vegas, but I don't know how stable that game is. Cinema mods. However, they want to go to work towards using in the form of successfully leaving a dangerous setting of the game. While Stranded Deep has had an ending, but it spits. Hang on, what the fuck? While Stranded Deep has such an ending, it always spits in the face of players who commit to beating it. The protagonist eventually stumbles across a broken plane that can be repaired. Once all the required parts are gathered, as well as supplies like food and water, it's time to leave. Player enters the plane and gets airborne before the screen fades to black. Things pick back up 3 hours later, with the plane still flying until it abruptly crashes into a private jet, identical to the one which crashed at the beginning of the game. What I'm more surprised about is both the pilot in the private plane and you as the pilot didn't see it, because all planes have a very obvious flashing light to prevent plane-on-plane collisions. You'd think the plane that the protagonist is using, what we use to escape, would have had some form of similar features, because that private plane should have been seeable from miles on end. Because even on the ground, if you see a plane right up in the sky, cloudy or not, you can see that light clear as fucking day. So the way that works is a little bit off to me. The perspective instantly shifts the protagonist inside the crashing plane sequence from the start of Stranded Deep, and then the game ends. There has been no physical explanation for the ending that seems to imply the protagonist, by escaping, caused the crash that left him stranded in the ocean in the first place, and is doomed to repeat this cycle for eternity thanks to some kind of wormhole. That doesn't make sense, because the amount of shipwrecks and plane crashes and all that on the islands, the ones that I didn't generate, the ones that are naturally placed there, you would think, as humans, there's a large amount of boats, there's a large amount of planes, there's a large amount of whatever disappearing between this specific part of the ocean. You would think that some of the countries, let's say it's in the middle between America and Europe, you think the European Union and America would be like, yo, we need to figure this out, why there's so many planes disappearing, and mask a massive kind of search party to figure out what the fuck's going on. Or maybe even go there and set up some form of base to re-establish communications and figure out what's going on, and then maybe break that loophole. But apparently humanity doesn't really do that much, do it? All this technology, and we struggle to find anything out in the oceans. In fact, 80% of our planet's ocean is completely unexplored. Granted, it goes deep, but get a dude from Subnautica, give him a Cyclops, and in less than 2 months or so, we'll definitely have the entire oceans completely discovered. So not only has this trope been used many times before, the paradox time loophole thing, there's films like The Triangle. Never heard of that. I assume it's something to do with Bermuda Triangle. That's a mysterious kind of thing there. There's absolutely no setup for it in the game. Obviously it's supposed to be a shocking final twist in an otherwise grounded survival game, but the intended gut punch doesn't land. Instead it comes across as silly. I would agree with that. I didn't really get that much of a reaction out of it. Stranded Deep, when played on its normal settings, is not an easy game to complete. It is fucking difficult. Beyond the basic tutorial, it offers no guidance on what to do or where to go, and there are countless ways the player can find themselves in peril. whether it's getting from a lack of water or getting chomped on by a shark. I'll also add to add, or getting fucking poisoned every fucking time. I nearly died twice due to that shit. That was annoying. To finish the game in a way that is not thought-provoking nor is resonant, the sci-fi twist is almost petulant. Feeling like something the developers tacked on in a last-ditch attempt to add more dimensions to an overall very good survival game, but one without a story. Other titles in the genre, such as The Forest, I was actually thinking that, and Subnautica, have deeper lore and story beats that the player can follow, which culminate in fulfilling endings to previously established plot points. I would agree with that. The Forest had some major fucking twists. I completed that game. Didn't stream it, this was years ago by now. The Forest had great survival elements, it had great base building, you had the cannibals, you had caves that you could explore which were dark and all that. It's like Stranded Deep, except instead of multiple islands, it's one giant one. And you have to move up north towards the Arctic to find Timmy, your son, who gets kidnapped after the plane crashes, and then you find out all the stories, the research lab, there's a thing that brings down planes and all that. It's an old game by now, spoilers, blah blah blah. But The Forest has some amazing twists that fit the genre, in my opinion. When I first found out about what was going on, it was A, surprising, B, completely unexpected, and I was not expecting that at all. I was more expecting Timmy to be dead, and then obviously you had the ending cutscene which kind of hinted at a sequel after that one, but we have heard nothing since about that. Actually, it's been quite a few years now. But like 7 days, we've got no fucking idea if the console version is going to get updated or not, that kind of thing. And Subnautica, which I have streamed on the channel, it's pretty much the same. I've already seen Jacksepticeye do a full-on playthrough, but I wanted to play for myself because it's a great game. The lore in it is fairly deep, and it's just a good fucking game. It's the first survival game that I've heard of that has an all-water planet. What other game has that? What other game just basically removes all land and puts you underwater? I don't think any other game does that. Yeah. Unfortunately, in the last second, Stranded Deep watches the landing and leaves a sour taste. This is why I'm on Google looking it up, figuring out what the fuck the ending even means. And I'm on CBR.com reading up on it. I have no idea what it means. This is the first game that had the ending where I had to Google it. Every other game, there was already established lore, there was already established story elements that I could follow and piece together in my own mind. This one had no story. Because no one subscribed yet, Article, that's why. No one else is subscribed, but I'm not fussed about that. Hang on, where am I? It suggests that all the players' time and efforts with nothing, and in the end, they have very little autonomy. When done correctly, this kind of ending can be thought-provoking, reflection on destiny and the amount of control one has in life. Stranded Deep, despite its title, doesn't move beyond the shallows of this topic. So, yeah. The ending to Stranded Deep was a bit odd, to say the least, but games like, even CBR points out The Forest and Subnautica, both of those games had great story elements, great lore, already established lore in the game that you can find through PDAs, or in The Forest you find that you explore more, and you get a very satisfying ending to it. So, to sum it up, Stranded Deep's ending is literally a time paradox, presumably something to do with Bermuda Triangle. I'm not 100% sure where that is, but the game is based somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, which would kind of explain all the shipwrecks. There was a fuck ton of shipwrecks, plane crashes and all that. So this looks like it's a time paradox, which doesn't work for this type of genre, because it kind of looks like you're just repeating it. I guess that's probably why there's not that much of a game, so to speak. But yeah, it is what it is. Well, in that case, I think it's time to end it. I don't really know what else to do. My base is fully maxed out. Excuse me, but yeah. My thoughts on it, great game. Hard as hell to begin with, but I think that's part of the challenge. Would I recommend it? Yeah, sure. If you want a challenge and something different than your usual survival game, I would say try Stranded Deep. For the story, I would say no. If you just want to get on, think about what the cartographer You know, make your own islands and stuff like that. No, go ahead. Think about speedrun it. I'm starting to get recommended videos of people speedrunning the game. Would I speedrun it? Probably not. I'm not that good. I don't know the game well enough. Or do I? Nah, I don't think I'll ever speedrun it, because obviously speedrunners will always have a better one. But you never know. My first attempt might be world record, doubtful, but you never know. In terms of the leaderboards though, hey, you got people who have still played the fucking game up to like 1500 days nearly, which is... I'm on like day 60, 2 months in a game. How the fuck are you on 1400, Rich? Jesus, no one's coming close to that. Quickest escape, 2 days? Wait, yo, you're telling me this dude loaded in, obviously you probably know what the fuck he's doing, loaded in, got all his stuff, killed the squid, the shark and the eel. Shark and eel fairly easy, I would say the squid is just a tanky motherfucker. And then escaped, got all the resources needed in 2 days. Actually, now that I think about it, it's pretty plausible, because all you've got to do is find a bunch of hogs and a bunch of rations and all that, and you're fine. You just need like 10 bits of water, which can be also be easier to do. Days to 5, Duke with 2200. Oh, what about hard difficulty? 1800. Hard difficulty 2, yeah. 400 days and hard difficulty. Makes sense. But yeah, hope you all have enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe. Find me on Twitch as well. All the links are down in the description below. Come and join us in the stream. I am an affiliate now, so I don't have to worry about, you know, average and that, so I won't be pushing that as much. I will be continue streaming as always. The next stream will be more Amnesia, I believe. I want to start getting back into horror games and that. If you have a horror game for Steam or PlayStation, relatively unknown and is fairly cheap, I would say, because I can't really afford that much money, to be fair. Soma. I recognise that game name, but I actually don't remember what it is. Let me do a quick Google. Soma. I think I have at one point. Ah, yes. Yeah, I know exactly what this game is. I recognise it now, yeah. It's a survival horror game. This is back in 2015. Oh, well, it's also on PlayStation. That might be useful. How much is it though? People also search for Amnesia. I'm not surprised. Amnesia is one of the classics I would highly recommend. I don't think I've played it, but I definitely have seen a lot of it. I think one of my friends used to play it and he showed me a bit of it. God, it was so many years ago. It's 2015. Really, I enjoyed Amnesia. I mean, it's still on the collection. I'm streaming on currently. I did one on. I imagine Soma is a lot more intense over Amnesia. Because from what I know of Soma, it's a very intensive survival horror game. Amnesia is more linear. It's not a survival. It's more of a horror thriller. It's not really much of a horror game. I would say it's more of a thriller, but it's still a pretty decent game. Actually, it's a horror puzzle, I believe, Amnesia, because there's a lot of puzzles you've got to solve to make progress. Personally, I must say Soma hooked me more story-wise. Oh, right. I just enjoyed Amnesia for what it was. It was basically you had to run around, try and find things, avoiding enemies and managing your sanity in hell. Very limited resources and that. I can see Soma being... I think Soma is similar to Bioshock in a way, would you say? Because for some reason I'm kind of getting Bioshock and Soma kind of related. I spent more time in the terminals than avoiding the monsters. The monsters were more of a nuisance. Yeah, they kind of are, to be fair. Bioshock's more story driven than arcade, yeah it is. I actually have a collection of, yeah, and you can fight, yeah, too. I don't know about getting the similarities then. In Soma you can't fight it, oh. Damn. I might have a look, I'll see how much it is on PS4. And then I might stream that at some point, if I can afford it, that is. if it comes free in the PlayStation Store next month, that would be fucking perfect. Because that's how I got Stranded Deep and Subnautica. just PlayStation Plus is a hell of a thing. What can I say? 20 quid for 3 months, free game, so 2 or 3 games per month. You gotta go on with that. Basically pays for itself. It should be fairly cheap considering it's back in 2015. It's only 24 quid. It's not too bad. I might see if I can get it at some point and play it, stream it. As soon as I started to think there are people, fucking hell, Detroit Become Human vibes here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end the stream here actually. There's nothing else I can do. I defeated an easier ass boss and I've finished the game. But yeah, so tomorrow I'll be going back to Amnesia. I kind of saved in a fucking horrible place. But yeah. If you remember, like I said, just follow, subscribe, and all that jazz, and I'll see you all in either tomorrow's stream or in the next video. Should get a second monitor. If I can get a second monitor or something, I'll be able to stream off my If I can get a second monitor, I'll be able to stream off my laptop. I'm thinking of streaming Surviving Mars at some point, because the game is super addictive. Or maybe even if I can get my laptop to, or rather, if I can get Sea of Thieves and not be such a dick while I'm playing it, I might stream Sea of Thieves. And like and here, if you like this type of video, please subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. You can also find me on Twitch, all the links will be in the description. As well as that, I have my own Discord, which will also be in the description. Now, thank you all for watching, and I hope you all enjoy. Bye for now.